the lower part of the falls now. We're coming down into the area of the White Rock. This is the general route when you're coming down into the centre of the town, so it is, you know. And as I say, we come down to this bottom of this road, like, it's quite a heavy bit of traffic on it, you know. But at one time we used to have to go through these areas when there was riot and burnings and hijacking of buses and whatnot, you know. And the whole thing about it was, not during one of those times did any of our taxis ever stop or fail to run a service, you know, in these areas. And this is why the public has showed consent to use the taxis, because their point of view was that we have got them to work, we're dependable, we're a far more efficient service and quicker, and we're cheap, and this is why they depend on us, so they do at the moment. You're now approaching the junction of the White Rock, which at one time was a tremendous for rioting and hijacked buses at that time during confrontations with the security forces. One example, during internment day, there was quite a few people shot up around this area, and still, even then, the taxi still ran, you know. This is the lower falls end of it, where most of the rioting and burning had taken place. And as I say, during those times, while the taxis was travelling through it, the rioters were courteous enough to stop throwing for that few seconds and to let us through, so that they got the safety of their own people back home, you know. Went up to a place now called Divots Flats, and this is where a lot of the RUC had turned their guns on innocent people at that time, so they did, you know. But as I say, the taxis didn't bother, they just kept on running in and out the side streets. They took variation routes as long as they got the people home. They went over barricades and everything, so they did, you know. And this was the whole point. The taxis never did stop running, and I think this was a thorn in the side of the security forces.
Harassment of the taxis, it's a general thing. If you look behind us now, this is a normal procedure where they throw up roadblocks, stop motorists, especially taxis, and take the driving licence off the driver and make them sit for anything up to 30 minutes, search the vehicle, make the passenger stand on the side of the road. Sometimes they attempt to arrest the drivers for unknown reasons. Most of the drivers are well known on the road, they're on it 7 days a week. We have to react when they do arrest a driver, and our alternative, and the only weapon that we have, is to set up our own roadblocks. What we would do would seal off the vehicle that would be trying to arrest the driver, put taxis at the front, to the side and the back of it, and hem him in. Generally that works, and they release the driver. If they do arrest the driver and take him away, what we normally do then would be block off the main arteries into the city. When we do this, we can close the entire city within a matter of minutes. We only need to close off 3 roads, and that brings the complete standstill to the entire city centre. Generally, this serves the purpose, and the driver is released after a short period.
In 1971, nationalist civilians became increasingly the random targets of a campaign of no-warning bombs, kidnappings and assassinations. In other words, death squads. It was a loyalist reaction. But the British Army paid scant attention to the loyalist paramilitaries. Their major concern was in dealing with the new wave of mass demonstrations by nationalists protesting against internment. The streets of Northern Ireland soon became a real-life laboratory for the Army's experiments in controlling an insurgent population. And the nationalists were the human guinea pigs. One of the techniques was the use of so-called harmless weapons, including the not-so-harmless CS gas, which was first widely used in Vietnam. CS gas is in fact lethal and can cause permanent damage to the lungs, stomach and eyes. But the gas, the water cannons, the banning of marches, the mass arrests, all had little apparent effect. Week after week, large demonstrations were held against internment. Finally, in Derry, on January 30th, 1972, the British Army decided to use a more effective technique: live arms.
Got out before they even stopped the sergeant tank, got on his knee and shot everywhere, and about seconds after soldiers followed him and done the same thing. And we heard them from that flat there calling, "Don't stop shooting, shoot the Irish bastards."
And I say again that I hesitate to call anyone liars, but the facts are we were fired at first, and we retaliated in the only way which was possible to us.
No weapon, he hadn't a stone, he had nothing, he was just standing. And as we turned, they started firing. Well, we heard the shots. We heard a few shots, and as we turned, he fell dead.
He went to tell the soldiers to stop firing. You can see the blood running there where the gentleman was shot at. But that's all I can tell. I was too shocked.
I never saw it even, and the worst film I ever looked at. It was massacre. It was mass murder. And I don't care who hears me say it. And I don't care, I never hope they'll not to see the day that'll never happen again. For it's pure murder. Murder.
They come in shooting, there was no doubt about it. From the commander box side, they were shooting even before the commander box side. And there wasn't a nail bomb thrown in this area. No, there wasn't a rifle shot fired. They were the people who done the shooting, and then the police backed them up from the walls here. Police, they shot down from the walls. That's what caused that fellow's death there. He tried to help two other lads, and they were shot down just like a bloody dog, just like animals we were shot at. And I have no doubt, like, that this has been planned. They called off the Orange meeting and the Paisley meeting and the Guildhall so that they could shoot us. They didn't care who we were, didn't care man, woman or child here. A youngster died this morning with a run over with a sergeant and then went back over the top here again. I mean, what are we going to do? Are we going to stand by idly and watch it all?